This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 9 in this series that is all about improvising in the pop, rock, and blues styles, where we be jamming, we're working on those solos. Super fun. In this lesson, we're going to continue to work with the major pentatonic scale. So, in the early part of the series, those first 6 lessons, we worked with the minor pentatonic scale and the blues scale that overlaps with it or coincides with it. And we jammed over different types of backing tracks in different keys. Then, 2 lessons ago, I introduced how there is a major pentatonic with the same notes for every minor pentatonic scale. And we worked in the key of C, and then in the last lesson, we worked in the key of A, working with that major pentatonic scale, and in this lesson we're going to work with the key of D. I've got some licks for us to help us get inside this major pentatonic sound. We've got a backing track and a new chord progression in the key of D that we're going to be playing over top of. It's going to be great. Let's just go ahead and get started here. So, we've been working with probably the most common pentatonic form that we learn on the guitar. There's 5 different ones that work really well that fill out the entire fretboard, and as we progress through the series we're going to get to them, but right now we're just getting really comfortable with this most common one, and I've got it up here on the board. Now when we were working with the minor pentatonic, we actually started with this note here, and that gave us our minor pentatonic scale, but when we start with the note on that low 6 string with our pinky instead, we get the major pentatonic. So we're going to be in the key of D today, so I would put that note at the 10th fret of the 6th string, and I'm going to have the major pentatonic. So if I start there and just play up, and in this case I'm going to be in 7th position because my index finger is going to be in the 7th fret, but if I start with my pinky, I'm going to get that D major pentatonic. And of course we can add in the little star note, which turns it into the major blues. That adds a flatted third to the scale. Can bring a little bluesy flavor into our lines. When we use it, we want to really be going up from that flatted third to the natural third, or coming down to that second. So we want the resolutions to be that sort of thing. So we've got that, and we've gotten comfortable with that. Of course, if this is the first lesson you're jumping in on, that's totally fine. You're going to want to learn this and probably check out the previous lessons. We've also looked with the major pentatonic at how we have the extension, just like with the minor pentatonic. We started extending a little bit so we could shift up a little bit higher, shift down a little bit lower, which is really preparing us for when we do all 5 forms along the fretboard. But we've got this extension that gets us going just a little bit, sometimes gives us ways to finger things a little differently. So we've been working with this. Let's take a look at this in relation to this key. So of course the squares are again around those roots. And this root lines up with that root and so on. This is drawn a little bit smaller, so it's not exactly going to line up with these 4 frets. With this extension, it's probably easiest to find that D on the 5th string, where it would be down here, that root, and then we know we can play those notes below, and we can shift up. On the 2 strings where we do the shifting with this particular extension, we can shift index to index or ring to ring as far as fingers go. Index to index or ring to ring. So, I can bring my index finger up and continue, or I could do it with the ring finger instead. Same thing when we get up to that 3rd string, I've got way. And then on the high string I can continue and shift up and use my index and ring fingers, or I can use my middle and pinky. So this extension all the way through. And you can work it in the opposite direction if you need to as well, going descending. And of course we can add in that blue note there. So that's a little review, but those are the scales that we're using. Now with this, let's take a look at some licks, kind of help us get our fingers going inside of this. Down in the description below, there is a link. You can click on it for a free copy of the sheet music in PDF format. I've got 3 licks written out to kind of help get the fingers going inside the key of D and just get us inside the major pentatonic. For most of us, the major pentatonic is just a little bit trickier for us to start improvising with than perhaps the minor pentatonic was. And so that's why I started with the minor pentatonic and we move on to the major pentatonic. It really helps as you're designing your lines and you're playing your ideas that you try and resolve on that tonic or that home note, that root. So we build tension by going away from it and we resolve that tension when we come to it. And that especially will happen when we hit the tonic chord. So in this key, in the key of D, that's the D chord. We build tension by taking chords away from the D and coming back to it. So same kind of thing in our lines. That's something to think about. Alright, so let's go through these licks then, starting with the first one there. I'm just going to play it nice and slow. You'll see the arched lines, those are slurs. That's when we're going to use hammer-ons and pull-offs to connect those notes together. You see the diagonal straight lines, that's where we're going to slide from one note to the next. So those are there to help you see where I'm doing that. Of course, you can change that up. You can pluck all the notes. You can add extra slurs in if you want to, extra slides even if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and just play this first one nice and slow. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. And I'll play it just a little bit faster. 3, 4, 1. So that's how that one goes. Let's take a look at the second one there. It's going to start off with 3 notes coming into that high one. You could, I guess, slide through it, but it's got that there. So you're going to have 1, 2, ready, and... And I'll play it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's take a look at the third one. So we're going to go down to this low part of the extension here. 1, 2, ready, and... And I'll play it a little bit faster. So 1, 2, ready, and... Just like that. Okay, super fun. Now you got some ideas. You can work on those as much as you want to. Let's go ahead and play together over top the backing track. Now we're going to have 6 hits on the hi-hat. We have 2 beats of rest, and then we'll be in, so that kind of gets you ready to know when you're in. The chord progression for the backing track is up here on the board. It's kind of a lengthy one. You're going to do D, A, G, A, half a measure each, 4 times through those 2 bars. Then we have a measure of G, measure of A, D, A, G, A, and then a whole measure of A. Comes around for 2 times through this D, A, G, A, and then D, A, G, and then a measure of A, measure of G, measure of A. We come back around for that D, A, G, A, and then 2 measures of D to finish it off. I'm going to jam all the way through at one time. You can play along with me, steal as many ideas as you want, get used to it. On the backing track itself, it actually goes through multiple choruses, and you can play along with it as much as you want to without me. There is a link in the description below. If you click on it, it'll pull up the video that has just that backing track. You can also find all the backing tracks that are used with this lesson series on the channel as well. There's a playlist that has all of them, just these jam along backing tracks for the pop, blues, and rock style, where we're just working on improvising. So you can see all of those. You can apply all the things that we're working on in all of those different backing tracks, and it was just super fun. So let's go ahead and play over this backing track together. You can steal some ideas. You can work on these licks over the top of it if you want to, but let's go ahead and jam. awesome. At least I hope it is super fun for you. I sure love doing this sort of thing. And hopefully that gets you some ideas going. And as I mentioned, you can play over that backing track as much as you'd like to. It'll do several repeats of the chord progressions. So super cool. Link in the description below. And you can find all of the backing tracks like this one that are used for this lesson series on the playlist on the channel that has the pop, rock, and blues jam along backing track playlist. So pretty cool. Now as we keep going on, we're going to work in one more key using this pentatonic form here with the major pentatonic. We're going to work in the key of B flat, which actually overlaps with G minor. So it's a key that we end up playing in from time to time. So we've got a cool backing track. We'll have some more licks for you to help get inside this major pentatonic. After we've done that, we're going to start taking a look at the other scale forms. So there's 5 forms that get us all along the entire fretboard. We'll start looking at the other forms, get used to jamming inside of those forms as well, which is going to be super great. If you're finding it a little frustrating, it's okay. This major pentatonic thing can be a little challenging, so just keep at it, keep playing with it, keep having fun, and the better you get, the more fun it becomes. Of course, we got lots of things to help you with playing the guitar. We've got the Monday, Wednesday lessons right now that are coming out, our jazz guitar lessons. We got Technique Tuesdays, Theory Thursdays, and then there's hundreds and hundreds of lessons, over 900 lessons, over 900 videos on the channel that are available, which is super cool. And of course, there's method books as well, so lots of things to help you with playing the guitar. Keep having fun, take care, keep at it, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.